Completed. Good morning to all. Is my voice is clear? Audio and video are clear? Please respond. Okay. Okay, good. So, good morning, everyone. How are you all? Okay. I'm also fine, thank you. Thank you. Okay. Today, we are going to learn about another topic, that is cellular respiration. Okay. Cellular respiration. It is one of the very important topic for NEET exam. Okay. Cellular respiration. Cellular, cells. Respiration, breakdown of food material within the cells takes place. This process is called cellular respiration. I will tell you in detail. What is cellular respiration? Cellular, I am telling, cells. Is it this respiration occurs in the cells? Yes. Respiration occurs in the cells. Is it respiration occurs in all the cells of the body of an organism? Yes. Respiration occurs in all the living cells of organism. Is it plants respire? Yes. Is it animals respire? Yes. Is it microbes respire? Yes. Is it dead cells respire? No. Respiration takes place in all living cells of organisms. Correct? Respiration takes place in all living cells of organism. Okay. Is it respiration occurs in the viruses? Is it respiration occurs in the viruses? No. Now okay? Now okay? So there is a net issue here. Okay, right. We'll continue now. Okay. Now I will continue. Right. So we're talking about cellular respiration. So respiration occurs in all living organisms. No respiration in viruses. Why? Because cells are absent. So as there are no cells, there is no cellular respiration. Except viruses, in all other organisms, there is a cellular respiration. Okay, clear. All organisms undergo breathing. What happens during breathing? Exchange of gases takes place. Correct? During breathing, gaseous exchange. Oxygen is taken and CO2 is liberated. Breathing. During breathing, gaseous exchange takes place. What happens during breathing exactly because of this exchange of gases? What is the outcome? During breathing, exchange of gases takes place, due to which C-C bonds of complex compounds break down. C-C bonds of complex compounds break down. As a result, energy is released. This energy is used to synthesize ATP. This process is called cellular respiration. I repeat again. During respiration, in the cells, C-C bonds of complex compounds break down with the liberation of energy. This energy is used to synthesize ATP. ATP means adenosine triphosphate. Adenosine triphosphate. This process is called respiration. I hope you are following well. Net issue also clear now. It is a complex process. It is a metabolic process. It is a physiological process. So definitely have to understand clearly and comprehensively what is cellular respiration, what happens during respiration. So we can simply say that during cellular respiration, oxidation of food materials takes place within the cells to release energy, and this energy is utilized for the storage of, for the synthesis of ATP. The energy released during this process is utilized for the synthesis of ATP, and ATP means adenosine triphosphate. Hence, ATP is known as energy currency. Energy currency. Clear? Of cell or cell currency. Energy currency of the cell or cell currency is the ATP. Okay. You know, we require energy. For what purpose energy is required? To do various activities, we require energy. For movement, for sleeping, for reproduction, for absorption, for every activity, we require energy. Am I right or not? For various activities, energy is required. Okay. From where we get this energy? From where we get this energy? This energy we will get from some macromolecules called as food. Is it right? We will get this energy from the macromolecule called food. Is it right? We will get this energy from food. Food is macromolecule. When this food is oxidized, is it right? When this food is oxidized, energy is liberated within the cells. We eat food material, the food is digested, then it is converted into simple molecules like glucose. This glucose enters into the cells. In the cells, the food is oxidized with the liberation of energy. And the energy liberated during this process within the cells is not utilized totally. Most of this energy is utilized in the form of ATP, stored in the form of ATP. Whenever we require energy, the ATP break down and release energy. Okay? That is why ATP is called energy currency or cell currency. I hope you understand. We require energy for various activities that we get from macromolecules called food material. From the food, due to oxidation process, energy is liberated. And this energy mostly we can utilize for synthesis of ATP. That means energy is stored in the body of the cells in the form of ATP. Whenever the cell require energy, this ATP break down and we will get energy. I hope you understand. Simple to understand. Respiration means is not just intake of oxygen and release of carbon dioxide. It is an oxidative process. It is a metabolic process. Therefore, as energy is liberated in respiration, respiration is known as exergonic process. Exergonic process. Respiration is an exergonic process because energy is liberated in this process. Yes. I hope all of you are following well. Try to understand the concept of respiration. Okay. Respiration is an amphibolic pathway. An amphibolic pathway. An amphibolic process. Because in respiration, not only catabolism, breakdown of complex molecules into simple molecules, but also simple molecules combine and form complex molecules. Synthesis of new molecules also takes place. That is why, as catabolism and anabolism both are taking place in respiration, respiration is rightly described as amphibolic pathway. Traditionally, we believe that respiration is a catabolic pathway. Yes, absolutely right. Traditionally, we believe that respiration is a catabolic pathway because we take food material, food is a complex molecule, and this complex molecule break down with the liberation of energy. No doubt about that. But as I said, food material contain CC bonds. When these CC bonds, carbon-carbon bonds, when break down, for example, when these are break down, these skeletons are formed. These are called carbon skeletons. These carbon skeletons are used to synthesize other organic molecules. Breakdown of CC bonds is catabolism. After breakdown, several fragments are formed. These are called carbon skeletons. These skeletons are used to synthesize other organic molecules like proteins. And this is anabolism. On one hand, there is a catabolism. On the other hand, there is an anabolism. Clear? Therefore, respiration is called as amphibolic process because it involves both catabolism and anabolism. Catabolism means breakdown of complex molecules into simple molecules. Anabolism means breakdown of synthesis of complex molecules from simple molecules. Both are opposite processes. Okay. So why respiration is called amphibolic pathway? Because it involves both catabolism and also anabolism. Clear? Next. You know very well that all green plants and also cyanobacteria synthesize food material. Clear? Which organisms synthesize food material on this planet? All green plants. Okay? And cyanobacteria. These are previously called as blue-green algae. Blue-green algae, in shortcut, we call it as BGA. Okay? All green plants and cyanobacteria synthesize their own food material by a process called photosynthesis. Okay. They synthesize food material from simple molecules. For example, carbon dioxide combines with water and form sugars. This process is called photosynthesis. Okay. These sugars, these sugars break down to liberate carbon dioxide plus water plus energy. This process is called respiration. Okay. The end products of photosynthesis are the substrates for respiration. And the end products of respiration are the substrates for photosynthesis. Therefore, photosynthesis and respiration are antagonistic processes. They are the opposite processes. Okay, food is synthesized. Then, in order to get that energy, we have to break down that food material. That is a very important point. In photosynthesis, food is synthesized. But we need energy. For energy, these food molecules has to be broken down. As a result, energy is really released. All this happened within the cells. That is why this process is called cellular respiration. So, oxidation of food material and liberation of energy within the cells is known as respiration. And very importantly, all the cells of the plant body do not synthesize food material. But every cell of the plant body requires food material. Am I right? Interesting point. In the plant body, there are many cells, many organs, but all cells or all tissues or all organs cannot synthesize food material. Food is synthesized by only those cells which contain chloroplasts. All plant cells does not contain chloroplasts. For example, root cells does not contain chloroplasts generally, but that root contain food material. Therefore, the food synthesized in the green cells must be transported to non-green parts of the cells, where this food is oxidized, break down and liberate energy. And this energy is used by those cells for their activities. So this is a concept, a metabolic concept. You need to concentrate in order to understand clearly. You should listen meticulously, carefully, because this is not just root, stem, leaf, fruit, flower like that. This is a concept. It is a biochemistry. Is it right? So that is why every day we take food material. That food after breakdown reaches to in simple form into the cells. Inside the cells, the food undergo oxidation in the presence of oxygen mainly, and energy is liberated. And remember, energy is not liberated at once. After food is oxidized, energy is liberated due to the breakdown of bonds, but the released energy is not liberated at once. and energy is liberated slowly in stepwise manner. Energy is liberated slowly in stepwise manner, not at once. If at once the energy is liberated, most of them is lost in the form of the heat. Therefore, energy during respiration is liberated in stepwise manner, slowly. Therefore, respiration is not a single step reaction, it is a multi-step reaction. It is a multi-step process. And each step is catalyzed by enzymes. So, respiration is a enzyme catalyzed process. Enzyme catalyzed process. Understand? And it is a multi-step process. And energy is not released at once. It is released in stepwise manner. Okay. Right. Now we understand that what is respiration, where it occurs, what happens during respiration, why we have to breathe, what happens during breathing. We require energy. How we will get that energy, right? And how energy is stored. Why not energy released in a single step? Why it is liberated in stepwise manner? Okay? And you know very well, plants synthesize food material. Therefore, they are called as producers. Animals are heterotrophs. Okay? Animals are heterotrophs. They cannot synthesize food material. They depends on plants either directly or indirectly. Is it right? Either directly or indirectly. Based on that, they are divided into two types: carnivores and herbivores. Herbivores and carnivores. Students, all of you following well? Are you following? So animals are heterotrophs. They depends on plants for food material, either directly or indirectly. The animals which depends directly on the plants are called herbivores. And they depend indirectly are called carnivores. And similarly, organisms like fungi, saprophytes. Some fungi act as saprophytes. They depends on dead and decaying organic matter. Some fungi are parasites. Some fungi are saprophytes. They depends on dead and decaying organic matter. So ultimately, any other organism, either directly or indirectly, depends on plants for food material. Okay, right. Now, the substrate which is oxidized during respiration is called as respiratory substrate. Respiratory substrate. Okay. What is respiratory substrate? The substrate which is oxidized during respiration is called respiratory substrate. Very easy to understand. Don't make discussions or don't do this. Please concentrate here. This will help a lot for your future. Your aim is to become doctors. So you need to concentrate, commitment, all is required. We won't get ranks in 1 day or 2 days. It is a 2-year consistent and a constant and dedication is required for this. So try to focus on the content, on the topic. Try to analyze the subject that is needed. This will help a lot for you, for your future. Okay? Right. So respiratory substrate. The common respiratory substrates are carbohydrates. The common respiratory substrates are carbohydrates. The most favored respiratory substrate is glucose. The most favored respiratory substrate is glucose. However, fats, proteins, and organic acids are also act as respiratory substrates in plants under certain conditions. This implied fats, proteins, organic acids also act as respiratory substrates in plants under certain conditions. That means the common respiratory substrates are carbohydrates. However, fats, proteins and organic acids are also act as respiratory substrates under certain conditions. Clear? So the respiratory substrates are 4 types. They are carbohydrates, fats, proteins, organic acids. Then next question is it all carbohydrates, all respiratory substrates yield the same amount of energy? Is it all the respiratory substrates yield same amount of energy? No. It may vary from type of respiratory substrate to type of respiratory substrate. All respiratory substrates does not give same amount of energy. For example, 1 gram of carbohydrate yield 4 kilocalories. Similarly, 1 gram of proteins also yield same amount of energy, that is 4 kilocalories approximately. But 1 gram of fat 1 gram of fat yield 9 kilocalories. That is why when you eat fat, you become fatty. Understand? If you eat more fat, as it contains more energy, you also becomes fatty. Clear? So, I told you what are respiratory substrates. What are the examples of respiratory substrates? Right. So, these respiratory substrates in the cells undergo oxidation and release energy. Correct? Yes. Now clear. All the respiratory substrates do not give same amount of energy. Clear. Among all the respiratory substrates, carbohydrates is common respiratory substrate, and the most favored carbohydrate is the glucose. Okay? Clear. Then, do plants breathe? Here you may have doubt. Do plants breathe? We breathe. Yes. Other animals breathe. Yes. Do plants breathe? What is your answer? Do plants breathe? Answer is yes. Plants breathe. Yes, plants breathe. Okay, for breathing, we are having breathing organs such as lungs. Correct? For breathing, we are having breathing organs, respiratory organs. Is it breathing organs or respiratory organs are present in the plants? No. That means for breathing, breathing organs are indispensable, must. For breathing, breathing organs are compulsory, inevitable, indispensable. If it is true, no breathing organs in plants, however, they are showing breathing. But no respiratory organs or breathing organs in plants. However, they are having equivalent structures. Equivalent structures such as stomata and lenticels. Lenticels. Understand? Breathing organs are absent in plants. However, they can breathe because they contain equivalent structures. These are not organs. These are just pores present on different parts of the plant body. Stomata are nothing but the pores, openings present on this, mainly on the surface of the leaf. Lenticels are lens-shaped openings present on the woody stems of woody plants. This will perform. They are involved in respiration. Exchange of gases takes place through these structures in plants. So these are the structures which are equivalent to breathing organs of animals. I hope you understand, all of you. Okay. So breathing organs are absent, but equivalent structures are present. Now my question is, why? Why breathing organs are absent in plants? However, they undergo breathing. But there are no specialized organs called respiratory organs. Even then, they are performing their respiratory activities well. Why? Why? Okay. The reason is, even though the plants do not have respiratory organs, the reasons are, first reason, each part of the plant take care of its own gaseous exchange. Each part of plant can take care of its gaseous or gas exchange. That is first reason. Every part can manage its own respiration. Every part can manage its own respiration. A leaf can perform its own respiration. Stem part can perform its own respiration. A root can perform its own respiration. A branch can perform its own respiration. A fruit can respond its own respiration. So, each and every part can manage its own respiration. This is the reason. That is why no need. But in our body, only one part take care of all these. That is why. And second one, plants respire at lower rate than animals. Than animals. I think understand. So the rate of respiration is slow in plants when compared with animals. Roots respire very slower than animals. Stems respire lower than animals. Leaves respire lower than animals. So the rate of respiration is less, is low in plants when compared to animals. Hope you understand. And third reason is, the distance that the gas diffuses even in large and bulky trees is less. The distance of diffusion of gases is less even in large and bulky trees. No need to transport for longer distance. One place the gas was absorbed. No need to transport in the entire plant body. A gas enter into the leaf, that gas is used in that only. Another leaf, the gas is used from another place. Like that. I mean to say, no need to transport gases for longer distance. Is it clear? Because of these three reasons, respiratory organs do not present in plants. Because of these three reasons. First reason, each and every part of the plant body can take care of its own respiration. Second one, plants respire at lower rate than animals. And third one, the distance of diffusion of gas is less even in large and bulky trees like banyan tree also. That is why respiratory organs are absent. Okay, clear? Next, types of respiration. Types of respiration based on presence or absence of oxygen. Based on the presence or absence of oxygen, respirations are divided into two types. One, aerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. What is the basis of this division? Based on the presence or absence of oxygen, respirations are divided into two types. What are the two types of respiration? Aerobic and anaerobic. Aerobic and anaerobic. Okay. The respiration which takes place in the presence of oxygen is known as aerobic respiration. And the organisms are called aerobes. And the respiration is called aerobic respiration and the organisms are called aerobes. Clear? And the respiration which occurs in the absence of oxygen is called anaerobic respiration and the organisms are called anaerobes. Clear? And remember, in respiration, I told you many times, energy is liberated. Energy is liberated in several steps, not in a single step. And in the cells, this breakdown of food material and release of energy occurs in two places: cytoplasm and mitochondria. Mitochondria in eukaryotes. Understand? Cytoplasm, both. That means respiration occurs in two places. Very, very important. Respiration occurs in two places: cytoplasm and mitochondria of the cells in case of eukaryotes. Okay. You know very well, photosynthesis always occurs in the one place only, that is in the chloroplast. Photosynthesis occurs in one place, that is chloroplast. Respiration occurs in two places: cytoplasm, mitochondria. But mitochondria are absent in prokaryotes. Mitochondria are present in eukaryotes. Okay, clear? So now we understand what is the difference between aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. Now I will tell you briefly the differences between aerobic and anaerobic respiration. See carefully, and this is very important. Differences between aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. Right. Just basic points. Basic points. First one. It occurs in the presence of oxygen. Okay. It occurs in the absence of oxygen. It occurs in the absence of oxygen. First point. Clear? I am talking about the differences between aerobic and anaerobic respiration. Respiration which occurs in the presence of oxygen, aerobic, and in the absence of oxygen is called anaerobic. Next. In aerobic respiration, glucose undergoes complete oxidation. Glucose undergoes complete oxidation. Glucose undergoes complete oxidation. That is why more amount of energy is liberated. But in anaerobic respiration, glucose undergoes partial oxidation. Partial or incomplete oxidation. Partial or incomplete oxidation. And hence, very less amount of energy is liberated. Very less amount of energy is liberated. Understand? So in aerobic respiration, the food is completely oxidized. The respiratory substrate is completely break down with the liberation of carbon dioxide and water, but not in anaerobic respiration. Next. One glucose upon complete oxidation produces 38 ATP molecules. One glucose produces 38 ATP molecules upon complete oxidation in the presence of oxygen. The same glucose in anaerobic respiration produces only 2 ATP. One glucose molecule in anaerobic respiration produces only 2 ATP molecules. Okay. One interesting question I will ask now. Can you able to say the answer? Which respiration is more efficient? Which respiration is more efficient? Yeah, obviously aerobic respiration you are telling. Yeah, very good, very good. Because in aerobic respiration, 38 ATP are produced. In anaerobic respiration, just 2 ATP. Okay, my question is, how many times aerobic respiration is more efficient than anaerobic respiration? How many times aerobic respiration is more efficient than anaerobic respiration? Yes, some are giving correct answers. Many names are there. Yeah, very good, very good. 19 times. Is it right? The same glucose produces just 2 ATP in anaerobic respiration and 38 ATP in aerobic respiration, means 38 by 2 is equal to 19. 19 times. Understand? Very good, very good. Almost all, everybody is giving the correct answers. Absolutely, absolutely right. You are following very well. I appreciate. Good. Okay, 38 by 2. So, aerobic respiration is 19 times more efficient than anaerobic respiration, because the same amount of glucose produces here 38, only 2 ATP there. And this is commonly seen in higher plants. Aerobic respiration is commonly seen in higher organisms. Higher organisms such as plants, animals, etc. But it is commonly seen in lower organisms. Lower organisms such as bacteria, yeast. Of course, yeast is a eukaryote. Commonly seen in lower organisms such as bacteria. It is seen in plants and animals. Okay? And finally, I will draw the equation for aerobic respiration. Very important. Equation for aerobic respiration. C6H12O6. This is the glucose. In the presence of oxygen, it liberates 6CO2 plus 12H2O plus energy. Approximately 686 kilocalories of energy is produced. So, glucose undergoes complete oxidation, and CO2 and water and energy is liberated. Substrates for aerobic respiration: glucose plus glucose plus oxygen, and the products of aerobic respiration: CO2, water and energy. And similarly, the equation for anaerobic respiration, here oxygen is not involved. C6H12O6. This is also glucose, and this glucose undergo partial oxidation. Therefore, it forms C2H5OH. This is ethyl alcohol or ethanol plus 2 molecules of CO2 plus little amount of energy, approximately 56 kilocalories. It may vary from one book to another book. I am telling that approximation, the energy, right? This is the equation for anaerobic respiration. Glucose undergoes incomplete or partial oxidation and form ethyl alcohol, because this is alcoholic fermentation. This is alcoholic fermentation. Okay? Plus carbon dioxide. So, ethyl alcohol plus carbon dioxide plus energy are the products. That means glucose is not completely breakdown, completely oxidized. and hence only less amount of energy is liberated. And the best example, this reaction takes place in yeast cells. Yeast are unicellular fungi. Okay? If glucose undergo complete oxidation, more amount of energy is liberated. If glucose undergo only partial oxidation, it releases only small amount of energy. Okay? This is about aerobic and anaerobic respiration. And that's all today. And tomorrow, or not tomorrow, day after tomorrow, we will discuss the steps of aerobic respiration and also anaerobic respiration. So any doubts, students? Anybody? Thank you. We'll continue the same next class. Right. Thank you. Okay, bye.